What is up, guys? It's the Thekarmicdf, Mindy from TikTok, and we are here to talk about how to reframe triggers so that you can see them as simply a learning experience so that you don't get triggered as much, so that you can learn to use these as educational experiences instead of things that actually, upset you and hurt you and make you go running in the opposite direction, right? Today, we're going to learn how to change the narrative in our mind as we approach triggers, so that way we can break free of them, realize that they are simply just a learning lesson, and move forward to who we are meant to be. As always, if you like this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all the above, and let's get into it. I want to start off by remember this quote every time that you get triggered by a person. Hurt people hurt people. Now, when you're in a real bad frame of mind, right? If you're not having a good day, it's a lot easier to get mad, right? It's a lot easier to pop off at the mouth because you're already at a lower vibration. So if you are being triggered by somebody, you have to remember that hurt people hurt people. That is the first step to being able to conquer these triggers, because as someone can be verbally attacking you, even though sometimes, of course, it's a mirror of what you need to work on in yourself, instead of going the reactionary way, realize that hurt people, and what can we learn about this that tells us something about ourselves, instead of making it personal to the point in which we get defensive and we feel like we need to defend ourselves to somebody who's already at a low vibrational frequency, meaning that they're coming at you and they're talking to talk. They don't want to hear you. They don't, like when you have a conversation, they're listening not to understand, but to respond. Those are the people that we're talking about when you're being triggered, because they don't care what you have to say. They're in a lower mindset, lower vibration, and therefore hurt people hurt people. Because if you are happy, if you are living your best life, if you are doing the best that you can for yourself, you will trigger somebody who's in a lower headspace, lower frame of mind, because then they can go into that victim mindset where they're like, oh, why are they so happy? It's the middle of a global panorama. Why are you smiling? Like people just like to project. It's what we all do until we realize that there is internal work that we need to be focusing on. Another thing to remember that'll hopefully help you is just remember that it is all energy. So as much as it sucks to be triggered by people that, may not have respect and may be rude and hurt your feelings, that's the energy that you may be subconsciously putting out into the world. Or it's something that your guides are bringing to you so that you can work on. Start reframing the narrative of these triggers in your mind, so that when people go to verbally attack you or go to bring you down, you can go, okay, what is this teaching me? Is this teaching me something that I need to learn about myself? Like if someone is in a bad mood and comes up to you and is like, ugh, you're fat. And that's your trigger. And they don't actually know that that's your trigger. And someone, when you were like 8, called you fat and you've forever had issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, triggers are there to help you acknowledge what is still hurting inside of yourself. It is an opportunity to heal what you didn't realize still needs to be healed. Or you're going to be like, well, I don't want to be triggered. Okay. Then start owning it and start working on it. So when someone that wants to hurt you goes out of their way to hurt you, instead of taking it to heart, go, oof, you must be pretty miserable to be talking to somebody like that. And definitely don't say that to them, because you'll spark a fight and nobody wants that. But remind yourself, what type of energy do you need to be in to cut somebody else down? You know what I mean? Have you ever been in a really dark place in your life and you have some embarrassing moments where you took down some people verbally because you were in pain? You've been there, done that, and now you are doing the work to heal. So as you're doing the work to heal, you're going to trigger people that don't want to heal, and they're going to project that onto you. So remember that that's something that you came from, and remember that it has nothing to do with you, right? It's not personal. If they were in a healthier place in their lives, they wouldn't be so triggered by you. They'd be rooting you on. But instead, because they see you subconsciously as a threat, or they see you subconsciously as who I should be, what I should be doing, how I should be doing better, if it's family situations, family bringing you down because they're not used to you being different than the family because the family has it set up in a certain way, you know what I mean? You have to start looking at it for what it truly is and stop internalizing it, because because like I've said, most of the time it is not about you and it has nothing to do with you. And if it is triggering you, it is triggering something deeper that again has nothing to do with the situation that you're currently in. So why waste your energy on it? You're better off just walking away. Promise you, and you will notice this, although this goes kind of with the spiritual awakening part as well, because you have to be prepared for this. Once you start owning yourself and you stop with the arguing back and you just go, well, they can be miserable all they want. These people will start to fall out of your life if they're not meant to be in your life, and they will stop attacking you. I had someone who was very verbally abusive to me a lot. And when I realized that it was projection, I stopped taking it personally and I stopped fighting back. I was like, okay, that's just how they act, And then they stopped acting that way because they weren't getting what they wanted out of me, which is a reaction. That's what they want. They want a reaction. They want to see you drop down lower so that they can feel better about themselves. And if you refuse to do that, then they only have two options left: to leave your life or avoid you, or to do better, to realize that they're the problem. Because if you're not contributing to the issue, then you are obviously not the problem. And then they have to take a bigger look at themselves. And you are the reason for that. So if you can start to reframe how you see being triggered, start to look at it as learning lessons, you will start to see the world around you literally change. The people around you will literally change. Next time you're triggered, I ask you to try and push yourself to, instead of, getting reactionary and defending yourself. And I'm not saying that you don't have the right to defend yourself. Like if there is a serious situation, of course, defend yourself away. But if it's something that just doesn't need to be had, then just take that moment and go, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? Walk away from whatever's triggering you. Walk away from the conversation. If it's on your phone, put your phone down and journal, write about it, or just talk it out with yourself out loud so that you can hear it. What is this teaching me about myself that I still need to work on? What is this bringing up for me that is ready to be released? What is inside of me that still hurts that I can work on to better my quality of life? Maybe you have friends and a spouse that take advantage of your kindness, and you might be going through a spiritual awakening and then you started to put up boundaries and people were like, oh, what's this with the boundaries? Because a lot of people get really triggered when you put in boundaries because they take it personal. It's a lot of internalization. Again, from the beginning of the video, hurt people. And you have to realize that that's going to continue to happen until you get a grip, not in a rude way, of what it is that's really getting you worked up. Because once you can change and move that around, like say that your friends aren't solid friends, like I said before, and maybe you need some alone time because you just need it. And now your friends are triggered by that and they're like, oh, you don't show up for me, you're not there for me anymore. When in reality, chances are you were a giver to too much. You were probably giving way more than you should have been giving to begin with. Because if you're watching my videos and you're likely an empath or light worker, one of the above, clairsentient, all the above, I don't care. You're one of us. So we have a habit of over giving. We have a habit of just wanting so badly for everybody to be happy, especially the people that we love. And we usually do it to our own detriment. We usually give too much, and that can stem from childhood, which I have a video on that as well, where it might just be that you found your value in giving to other people, and so you don't know who you are outside of giving, and therefore you don't know how to create boundaries with people, and people don't respect your boundaries because they expect you to be their at-home therapist, their go-to person when they're going through something. But if you notice, a lot of times, where are they when you need it? You have to start really thinking about the relationships that are around you, because everything around you is a reflection of your internal, of what's going on inside of you, of what you accept from other people. Because when I started to change and I started to really put in my boundaries and refuse to move them, friends fell away, spouses fell away, people that disrespected me fell away, people that started to understand me started to find me. And don't you want that too? When you get triggered, when someone disrespects you, when someone says some things on your name that you disagree with, I want you to remember that it's simply projection and that you do not have to catch yourself up in this stuff because it has nothing to do with you. You are the creator of the world around you. And once you start standing in your truth and start owning who you are, everything else will start to work out in its own weird, beautiful way. But you have to believe in yourself and you have to love and respect yourself. And that's why self-care and self-worth and self-love is so important. That's why you need to take these triggering moments and start analyzing them logically without emotion as to why you're being triggered by these things. Because as you learn where it's coming from, you can heal that inner wound, and then those things won't be so triggering anymore. For instance, I have almost 3 years sober from alcohol. Every once in a blue moon, once in a blue moon, I don't get it anymore because I'm not triggered by it. But in the past, a lot of people be like, oh, Mindy the alcoholic, and that would trigger me because, yeah, I was really depressed, and alcohol was what I went to deal with it because I didn't really understand who I was. I was incredibly sensitive and empathic. I was told that that was a weakness, so I didn't believe in myself and I didn't love myself and yada yada. And so the world showed me by hurting me, sadly, and not in a bad way, but that's what triggers are. They hurt. Of what it was that I needed to heal, of what it was that I needed to focus on. So now when people are mean to me, when people do anything negative, I pause. I pull myself away from the situation and I go, well, why is this upsetting me so much? Where in me is this telling me that I have work to do on myself, that I have work in which I need to heal so that I can stop attracting people that talk to me this way, that treat me this way, that don't appreciate me for who I am. There will always be people triggering you so long as there is something that needs to be healed. And there's just a lot of angry people in the world in general. So also that, you're always going to bump into somebody at a grocery store that's got an attitude problem because they're having a bad day. Because again, global panorama, it is what it is. But once you really start to look at this from a different mindset, from a mindset not of people are hurting me, but a mindset of what can be learned from this experience so that I don't have to experience it again, that's when you've mastered triggers, because that's when you've taken this as a lesson instead of thinking that it's something to do with you, that it's internal, that there's something broken wrong with you, that there's something that needs to be fixed. The only thing that needs to be fixed is the part of you that's getting hurt. You need to acknowledge what still hurts and you need to rebuild yourself. That's the truth of triggers. That is the point of triggers, is to build you back up. And I know that sounds, whatever, but I didn't make the spiritual rules. The higher ups did, So don't beat yourself up. If on certain days, you get triggered by somebody and you flip the fuck out. Like we've all been there. I had one of those days not too long ago, and I'll probably have it again. But be easy on yourself and ask yourself, why did it trigger you? And what can you do in the future to not be so triggered by it? Because it's telling you something about yourself. Something about you is saying, hey, I don't feel 100% in myself, and this needs to be addressed so that I can feel 100% about myself, because that's the goal. The goal is to love yourself and to be able to live the life that you want to live, to follow what your soul is asking for. And unfortunately, that comes with a lot of lessons, because you have to be able to not necessarily be strong, because I don't want to push that, but be able to hold yourself, to carry yourself, to be able to stand in your authentic truth without other people making you feel like you're somehow less than, like you're somehow not worthy. This is teaching you that there are just pieces of you that need to heal. And once you heal those pieces, you are in better alignment with yourself, better alignment with people that match you, and then you could stop fitting in and start finding people who truly understand you, who truly make sense to you and where you're going in your future, in your life. Because everybody serves their purpose. Everybody has chapters in our lives. And as you're going through a spiritual awakening, as you're healing all the trauma that you've been through, you're going to lose these people because they were chapters. And you're going to bring in people that understand you better and that are going to be more empathetic and that are going to treat you with kindness. But the only way to get people in your life that will treat you with kindness with no ulterior motives is for you to reflect that you treat yourself with kindness. What type of love do you give to yourself, if any? Do you treat yourself nicely? Do you celebrate yourself? What is your inner critic telling you all the time? Are you saying, I'm dumb, I'm worthless, Stop. Stop beating yourself up. You are your own worst critic. And once you can get out of that headspace and start saying, you know what? I don't care what the world around me has to say. I'm perfect just the way I am. I'm a work in progress like everybody else. I'm doing the best I can every day, and that's all that I can ask of myself. And as long as you continue to do that, work through your triggers, you will see that your life will unfold in the way that you want it to, because you took control of yourself. You took control of your own happiness. You took control of your emotional, spiritual freedom. I'm going to leave it at that for this video because I feel like this is a little bit deep, and I know that this is something that maybe, think about it. Like, lay down, sit down, whatever you want to do, and journal to yourself. Like, all right, this person hurt my feelings today. Where is this really stemming from? Okay, they called me ugly. All right, no big deal. Ugly's not that bad, What did that? Oh, okay. I remember when I was 7. You know what I mean? Like, it's doing the work to figure out where it stems from. Because the moment that you can figure out where it stems from is the moment that you can release yourself from the constraints of believing that you are anything less than what you are meant to be, which is beautiful, abundant, happy, vibrant, living your best life. We believe that we are meant to fit in a box. We believe that we have to fit society's rules, and then we break our own hearts because we think that we have to fit the mold or else we're broken. That's not the truth at all. Follow your soul. Follow whatever calling it is that you have. And whenever you're triggered, take that moment, put it into a diary in your phone if you want. Do whatever you got to do. Verbalize it out loud, like I said earlier. But make sure you acknowledge what it is and where it's stemming from, because you have the power to change your life around for the better. It starts with you and how you care for yourself. And if you're not caring for yourself, then you're going to attract people that respect you the way that you respect yourself. How do you respect yourself? Do you respect yourself at all? Or do you think that you're not worthy? Do you think that you're not enough? If you are thinking these things, then you are going to keep attracting people that treat you that way. So start realizing your divinity. Start realizing your worth. And I promise you, the triggers will suddenly start to go away. They won't hurt as much. The toxic people will go away as well. And you will be in alignment with what's best for you. If this was helpful, let me know in the comments. And as always, I'm rooting for you guys. You totally got this. You can beat those triggers, and you can believe in yourself and align to whatever it is that makes you happy, that makes you feel inspired, and that makes you live the life that you want to live. I love you guys so much. Keep fighting, keep being you, and you will shine. You will find exactly where it is that you belong. I love you guys so much. Bye-bye, babies.